Hey guys, welcome to the instructional video for easy structure analysis. Today we're analyzing the skeleton of Goodman's article for our transitional analysis. So again, we're only doing 15 to 20 words. Let's dive right in. The prompt for the SAT is always the same, and I just want to let you know today that we're really focused on looking at this piece, this middle piece. Okay, so transitions we know are the mortar between the bricks. How does Goodman connect ideas, right? Really claims to evidence. And we're going to be looking at that piece and we're going to see how it really is like the skeleton of his argument. We start with the title. Foreign national news at the crisis point. We can see really important stuff just from these few words. We know that the subject of this article is going to be foreign news, particularly a problem with the foreign news. We also see that the title indicates that this argument is problem-based, right? Because we see crisis in the title. And that also indicates that he could be arguing either to convince the reader that there's a problem or perhaps maybe to argue a solution. So that gives us a lot in our soapstone. We know who the speaker is. We know the subject here and here. And now we're going to be looking for maybe some tone words today, maybe even find out more about the purpose and the audience and the occasion. So these are kind of some gaps we're going to try and fill in. So let's get to it. So when we are confronted with a huge article, it is really easy to get overwhelmed, right? So we see all that. We're like, so what I want to do is I want to looking at the first few words of every paragraph is really going to help you. I've gone ahead and done some preliminary work, and we're going to tackle paragraphs 1 through 4. We're going to look at a hinge paragraph and then paragraphs 6 through 11. So back in 2003, in the intervening 8 years, the same, all of this decline. That's what we're going to look at right now. So back in 2003, in the intervening, let's see if I get it right on the first time. Oh gosh, what else was on there? Popping back and forth, the same AJR survey, and all of this decline. So these few transitional words tell us a lot. We know when a writer uses a date or a range of time, he's giving us some historical context or exigence or occasion, right? We know that this is a problem. We know that it has to do with foreign national news because he's told us that. And so we're going to assume that everything that comes after back in 2003 tells us what was going on in 2003. We can assume he's trying to frame the problem, frame the crisis so that the reader can understand what the crisis is and what's contributing to the problem. We also see he gives us another span of time. So the 8 years after 2003, we can assume that transition is doing the same thing as the first transition. Then we get to the same AJR survey. Now, this is interesting because it tells us a couple of things. It tells us that he's used this evidence before, the same, and that it's supporting this historical context that he's trying to give in order to frame the problem. Using evidence to really support all the historical context he's given. And finally, all of this decline. So all of this decline is really important because it tells us that the crisis is that foreign news is in decline, right? Just with those few words. So if you come back over to the SAT study guide where I'm getting this article, I can see that knocks out all of this for us. So let's examine what taken together those 4 transitions could really mean. I think it really means that this is giving us some historical context. He's obviously using evidence to support And then if we think about the tone, taking the title with these 4 transitions, for me, it seems informational. Oh, sorry, keep making typing mistakes. Pretty formal. There's some distance between the reader and the information, and pretty dire, right? So, like decline, crisis, it seems immediately important. It seems like it's not going in a good direction. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what I'm calling the hinge paragraph. And the hinge paragraph tells us that the transition for the hinge paragraph is in short. Now, when you see in short, I want you to get excited. Why? Because especially for you who really struggle to read entire articles in a short period of time, it can be really helpful for you because it's going to summarize everything that came before. In short means here's a summary of everything that I just said. So that's important. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, and then we'll check out here 6 through 11 in part 2. Make sure you review the video, you know what I'm saying, and we're on the same page.